In my 14 years on this earth, I have always been 2 steps ahead. Step 1, always need to be on top of your studies, okay? And I've been on this earth, right? I'm not talking about Pluto, which unfortunately was disregarded in 2016. I'm not talking about Saturn, which no, I'm not going to marry a planet, regardless of the rings, who's with me. And I'm not talking about Mars, shout out Elon Musk, who's with me. I'm talking about Earth. That's how long I've been on this 14 years. And I've learned a couple things. 2 steps, in fact, is what I already said. Number 1, show people that you play Minesweeper, they'll think you're smart. Number 2, watch about your studies. Imagine you're Mr. Beast, right? You're hiring someone. What's the first thing you ask them? Are you a miner? If they say yes, don't work with them. Number 2, do you have any awesome video ideas? And do you have any awesomer ideas for videos? Here's how you respond. Number 1, tangible. Why is this the Number 2, yes, I do have an awesome idea, and it has to do with the beginning of this video, which was talking about studies, right? A quiz, and stay with me, but it's impossible. What? What the sigma? You can't do a quiz that's impossible? What am I, bald? Shout out Peggy. No, you can. And let me show you how with the help of the internet right around here. Um, Ignore that, okay? It doesn't matter, it's not really a thing. I'm just gonna get my whole kind of setup here. This is something that you want to do after you start recording. You don't want to do this before you start recording. It's very important. How do I play this awesome game? Well, you might say, well, you have to refresh it. Play it now, watch an ad. Is there actually an ad? And be honest. And be honest. Oh my gosh. During this, you might think a couple things. Should I go to Disney World? Number 1, no. Should I talk about Mr. Beast and the controversy? Number 2, let's just say 2 words for you. Cody Co. Number 3, it is the most magical place on earth. I'm going to press play and we're going to get started on this impossible quiz. The first thing that I do need to bring up is I have studied for this, right? Because what did I say about Mars? What did I say about Pluto? First of all, it was disregarded in 2019. Second of all, studies. That's what you do in 4 years of your time. How many holes are in a pole? One at the top, one at the bottom, and let's be honest, they're not made very well, so maybe there's 1 or 2 holes on the sides, so 4. Can a matchbox? Let me tell you something about FL Studio and Ableton. Let's say you have a candle, right, and you want it to light so it can smell up your room with some crazy smells. What do you do while you strike a match? Just like you strike a chord, just like B major. Shout out Kendrick. You strike a match, it makes an awesome sound. It goes whoosh. You want to sample that, don't you? Shout out the Amazon affiliate program sending me samples. I appreciate y'all. You want to sample that. So what do? You make a beat. How many beats? 1 beat? No. 2 beats? No. This is another one that, well, I've talked to Mr. Reese about this and Cody Co a bunch of times. Look at yourself in a mirror, okay? Think about a couple things, but now look at this question in a mirror. It's upside down. Flip the mirror upside down and then you can read it. Okay. This one's out of order. Need I say more? Avoiding controversies left and right. I just lost a life. That's super awesome. Let's keep moving on top of this question. Well, what is the square root of onion? If you didn't study for anything, it's very clear. This answer, well, let's just say it's really big. I'm going to click on this elephant. This is going to be very important later. I'm going to touch this elephant without its consent. Search. You might be thinking, well, how am I supposed to answer this question? There's no way I answer this right. In terms of chances, yep. Cut that part out. Editor. I'm gonna send this to my editor. I have one of those. Am I bald? Shout out Peggy. This one. This one chews food, and I like to chew food with all of my teeth. What follows December 2nd? Christmas. Click the smallest. I feel like it's this one. This one looks the smallest to me, so we'll just click on this one and move on. What can you put in Gypsy Rose to make it lighter? Well, Mary Rose. Y'all mess with me? Okay, let's say you're doing a test and Mr. Beast is your teacher and he's walking around the classroom, right? What do you do when you thought the test was going to be True or false, multiple choice. You thought you were going to get a good 50, maybe 25% of the test, but you come to find out what is happening right now. This is not true or false. This is not multiple choice. And this is definitely not an SAT. Don't fret. Use the horse method. H, that stands for how am I going to pass this test? O, that stands for O block. Awesome hike. R, that stands for, well, really good way to pass this test. S, that stands for, excuse me, that was very unladylike of me to burp like that. S stands for see how I'm going to teach you how to pass this test. And E stands for ecstatic. That's how ecstatic you're going to be when you finally pass this test. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And 24 minus 7, you might be thinking it's almost 18, so I probably should click that. If you're in elementary school, I would advise clicking the answer that isn't necessarily the answer, but the one that's pretty close to it, like 17. Now, when you're in school, what are you doing? You're waiting for the time to go, clockwise, counterclockwise, etc., etc. Well, let's say you're Pluto, right? You're in school, you're learning about Pluto and how it was discarded in 2013. You're also eating a banana. What do you do with that peel? You discard it, just like Pluto in 2011. Also, say you're Gypsy Rose and you're in a cave and you need to see, you have a torch, you put it in a bucket, boom, leads to Bop, and you're not in your house anymore, you're in a cave, so you go hammer time. Color this in the correct order. Now, we understand that you're British, you didn't have to tell everybody, right? Britons always be eating their fish and chips. And so do Americans, because Americans don't know how to make their own food. In fact, we eat hamburgers, which are from Hamburg, Germany. That might be true. I don't know. French fries, which obviously are from Canada. And pizza, which obviously is from the mob. Seal, watch carefully. No, thank you. I'd rather skip life than... This is just a twist. I mean, a look into my dark and twisted mind. I'd rather skip life than live it. Call me livid the way I live in Maddie. Call me Disney the way I Bran. And let's click on the V in lives, shall we? Why would you want to kill a werewolf? I feel like, I don't know, this is just me, but I feel like werewolves are people. I understand why we want to kill cows. Obviously, we've talked about Hamburg, Germany before. Need I say more? I understand why we want to kill pigs, even though they're only attracted to carrots and potatoes. Shout out Slushy Noobs. But werewolves just seem like humans in my mind. So let's click shoe polish, because I feel like they can kind of gauge what's happening if you just kind of buff their shoes up a little bit. Shout out Ron from Parks and Rec. I don't know. What is this? Well, let me tell you one thing. It isn't cruel. Last thing I think when I see this, I think it's beautiful. I think this hand has 4 fingers and this one has 3. I might be missing a thumb. I might be missing 2 teeth. We all know I have an abundance of things in my life, and I'm so blessed and grateful for all of them. What is your flavor of cardboard? I don't mess with peanut butter flavors that much. Y'all know this if you watch my Tangible Isaac channel. I don't mess with cheese that much. I'm not lactose intolerant at all. Egg mayonnaise. Put the mouse on here. Let's say you're a gamer, right? And people tell you to go touch grass. Well, in this situation, you're going to want to avoid that at all costs. Unless it gets into the triple digits because, well, that's expensive. Speaking of triple, woof, woof, woof. How many are there in the shampoo? Well, let's say I don't know how to say my R's. And I'm a roofing company and I have 3 houses to do. Woof, woof, woof. Stay with me. How many letters are in his hand? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Remember when I tapped on those elephants before? Remember when the question said, how big are you? I said 6'4" because that's true, and then I clicked on elephants. Well, I clicked on it with this mouse right here, the thing that's moving on the screen. I don't think anything else is moving until now. See, when I move the mouse out of the way, they're comfortable enough to move into their home. I'm sorry that I did that. Now the next thing you have to do is be patient. On my 14 years on this earth, the only thing I've learned is be patient. What do you call a wingless fly? Just like every other fly. Okay, just because it's differently abled doesn't mean anything like that. Can you get this question wrong? Of course not. Gypsy Rose is in a bucket with a torch. Cylindrical. Okay, now this is where things get tricky, to say the least. If I could right click on, and I promise you guys, what just happened? I genuinely closed my eyes. Y'all saw I closed my eyes. I don't know what just happened. And well, okay. The next thing that I did learn in this life is Minesweeper. It helps you feel better. Wait, I was at 70 before, and that took 11 minutes. Well, let's see how much we can improve that. The other thing that Mr. Beast has taught me about just, life in general is a day is not called a day, and a bidet is something that's Japanese or Chinese, I don't remember. I look bald. Shut up, Peggy. He's taught me that a day is not a day. No, 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 no. It's 24 hours. Surely it's these two, which means it's not this, which means it can't be any of these, which means I can get rid of these, which means, are y'all with me? Because I'm with y'all for life. I clicked on a bomb. Well, and okay, and hear me out. Okay, move. Okay. Oh, and hear me